Morning, Joe and the Pro. I'm the Prez. It's Tuesday. Big thanks to Marco for hosting yesterday. I had some meetings. And today, we got Tony Finn with us. Rocking and rolling like always. Tony, how are you, my friend?
Great. Good day. We had a big rainstorm yesterday, so everything's clean this morning. How about you?
No complaints. No complaints at all. I absolutely stink in NHL. Single worst run of hockey betting in my life. I can't see a game if I knew the score. But on a mini run in NBA, I had the
Yeah.
under last night in Toronto. I had the under in the first Toronto game. Doing okay there. Baseball started off winning, but man, this NHL is just kicking my ass, and it's affecting me all around. I fell asleep. I lost last night on Dallas. Fell asleep at 10-4 last night. I'm just so frustrated. But well, what can you do? We got to move on. Today's show, Morning Joe and the Pro. Find us at YouTube every single day. Our YouTube channel, WagerTalk TV. And you can also check us out at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com. Today's show, we're just going to talk about the two NBA games tonight. Tony, let's get straight into it, brother.
All right.
What a performance by the Boston Celtics on Sunday. I took them +8. We now find them at +7.5, and they look like they had an answer to the Greek Freak. But what we've seen over and over again is, don't get too high on teams or too low on teams. People were talking about a Toronto sweep. People were talking about Raptors in 5, how Philadelphia couldn't stack up against them. Then Philadelphia goes out last night on the Toronto home floor and beats them from start to finish. Milwaukee -7.5 here. The over and under is 218.5. For Boston to win, I think this game needs to stay under the total. I think we're going to see Milwaukee bounce back and win this game, but I don't think 7.5 is a good bet. I think it's going to actually come in somewhere between 0 and 8. So I actually lean on the Celtics here, and I do as well lean on under the total. What are your thoughts, Mr. Finn?
Well, you've covered it pretty well, and that is not only can you not get too high or too low on one game in the playoffs, you can't really. It's it's very difficult to carry the regular season over into the playoffs. About how good they were during the regular season. However, they're not a very good defensive team. They pack the paint, and here's the deal. What you want to talk about tonight? If Boston if they hit their season average from beyond the arc, their season average in 3-pointers, they're going to cover this game. They may win it. They're not going to shoot 50% like they did in Game 1, probably. However, you can count on one thing: they're going to get shots. Milwaukee's going to give them shots from the perimeter. It's up to them.
Oh, brother, dude. Next game. Next game is the game. It's just there's nothing sexier than this Golden State Houston situation, and both teams. Houston is just livid with the refs. The bottom line, and you hear all the talking heads talk about it all the time. James Harden kicks out when he shoots threes.
Yes, he does.
James Harden flails his arms when he shoots threes. This man does everything in his power to pretend to get fouled when he shoots threes. But Houston is still such a good team and such a great three-point shooting team. James Harden took over 1,000 attempts from beyond the three-point arc this year. What stands out to me most about Game 1, Tony, is the total. I looked at it and I thought to myself, with these, I grant you that Clay and Curry were slightly injured, but I thought 220 was such a low total. I think it was 222, 223 for teams that can run up and down, for teams that could put up a 70-point quarter. And they were nowhere near that number. I mean, it literally was 200, give or take. And here we see this 220.5, a slight adjustment to the under, and Golden State minus 5.5. I can make an argument right now on Golden State covering the 5.5. They played a really bad game last game. They turned the ball over, I think, 13, 14 times in the first half alone. Curry and Clay were not right. The team was put on Durant's back, and yet they still won by 4. If they put together a better game, there's no reason to think they can't win by 5.5. With that said, if the Rockets hold any chance of taking this series, they really need to win one in Golden State, and I can easily argue on why they will tonight. I'm struggling on the side here, Tony, but for me, I like the over. I think this game is going to be a very high scoring game, very up and down, and I think you're going to see a healthier Clay and Curry. I think 220.5 is slightly low.
I wouldn't argue with that. I would say I would counter some of your points, which are good points, and that is that not only did Golden State not play well, neither team played really well.
Correct.
So that said, much to do tonight is going to be. There's been a change in referees. I've heard, and that's nothing been official. At least I have not confirmed such, but it appears Scott Foster might be there. And the long story short is, what's going to happen with the referee? A lot of the low scoring, I think, came from non-calls or letting these two teams play playoff basketball. And Houston's defense, D'Antoni doesn't get enough credit. He has kind of a unique style, and when he counters or when they're opposing another team that has the same abilities they have, they play a little different than they would play against a lesser foe. So the total's kind of a tricky formula for me, but I still like Houston to keep this close. I think it's a coin flip. As long as Curry and Clay are still a little bit nicked, Houston can shoot with them and run with them.
Well, I just hope the two of them just beat the crap out of each other, and whoever gets through to the next round is not feeling 100%, because I'm sick of Golden State winning. I'd like to see a new team win. I don't mind if it's Houston, but if it's not, there's going to be some great stories, with Portland and Denver, potentially Toronto. I think Toronto will get by Philly, no problem. But I mean, Boston, Milwaukee, it would just be so great to see another team win it. And the bottom line, Tony, is I think the longer, and we see this, we've seen, I think, 2 3-peats. I think Miami 3-peated, and I think the Lakers 3-peated, and Miami was a while ago. Dude, the longer this goes, Golden State has got to be a tired team. This team has played an extra season in the last 3 years, and it's got to get to them at some point. So I think Houston is probably bummed they didn't get Golden State in the next round as they get more tired. But I think Golden State is ripe for the picking this year. I wouldn't be surprised if they're not the NBA champs. With that said, I think they're still the best team in the league.
I agree. I've written many times already in columns in WagerTalk News that this isn't the same. Not that they don't have the same DNA, they're the same players for the most part over the last 2 years with their new addition, obviously, in Durant. But there seems to be something missing from this team. Whether it's how hungry can you remain? It takes a certain special player to do what you said, and that is play year round and continue to be hungry to have that title. And you don't give up a 31-point lead in a postseason game against an 8 seed and you're a 1 seed. Not just give up a 31-point lead, lose a 31-point lead. And people will say, oh, it was the first round, yada, yada, yada. It's just something about this team. I agree with you. If they're going to be upset, if they're not going to win a third, Houston's probably the team to do it.
He's Tony Finn. I'm the Prez. Morning Joe and the Pro in the bag. Both NBA games done. Make sure to watch Puck Time. It's me and Andrew and First Pitch with the wonderful Drew Martin. Tony, thanks, brother, and we'll speak to you later. You'll be on First Pitch on Thursday, so keep that in mind, and we'll speak to you then.
Good luck tonight. Thank you.
Ciao, buddy.